wie wir safen. Und ich würde sagen, ja, wer wartet auf dem Roof? Bestimmt die andere. Wie hieß sie nochmal? So. Oh. Mir fällt der Name nicht mehr ein. Wir gehen einfach zu Himitsu. Who else if not her? Whom else could I rely on? I hesitated a while in front of the floor, of the door. Of course, everyone in there knew me. But that's probably the reason why they also drew completely incorrect conclusions. Himitsu was sitting in a place, reading a journal of some kind. Hi! Nico-kun! Sorry about yesterday, It's okay, you're right, aren't you? Seem to be still kicking. And demonstratively felt myself all over. Himitsu gave me a questioning look. I dropped by because, you know, we've got it boring in our classroom. Kyosuke's still telling his stories about manga and anime. Nothing interesting besides that. I'm glad you're here. And how are you doing? There was absolutely nothing to talk about. Seen Catherine already? But that didn't mean I should have chosen the worst topic possible. However, Himitsu replied calmly. Just briefly in a corridor. Ah, I see. And how is she? Don't you know? Me? How would I know if she doesn't talk to me? I mean, she does, but not about that. Himitsu's expression grew sad. Can't make sense of her, like she's conducting some goddamn psychological experiment on me. Wanna be Chung or something. I guess I was speaking much louder than would be appropriate. It distracted Himitsu's classmates and they grew silent, staring at me. But by that time I was too fired up and wasn't realizing I looked stupid. What you looking at? We've got these performances every day in my class. What, I don't look like a clown to you, do I? Some guy of those on the sturdier side made a couple steps towards me and fought to reach with his hand. Senpai! Don't touch me, I said quietly, casting a cold look at him. Nico-kun. Oh! Oh. Himitsu uttered, pain audible in her voice. What? I shouted. And at that moment I felt inexpressibly disgusted, revolting by my behavior. Ashamed before these students, before Himitsu, before Michael, before myself. What have I turned into? Was it about the note? The calls? The threats? No, it was about me. I quickly left the class, my eyes cast down. The feet carried me away by themselves. I only stopped after I reached the school's old wing. But you can't flee from yourself. Of course, most of all I wanted to run home, close the doors, turn off the phone, crawl under a blanket and lay there for a week or so. Until the shame would be gone, until everyone would forget what I'd done. But that's not how it worked. The planet really did keep circling no matter what I thought of it. And another weird thing, it wasn't circling around me. Michael might have resented me, some of Himitsu's classmates really thought I was an idiot, but all of that would already be forgotten by tomorrow. I'd keep working myself up, convinced that absolutely everyone in the whole world was only occupied with thoughts about me. Would be hiding, remembering the stupid things I did, burning in shame over and over again. No, enough. I headed to the class in a resolute step. I started by apologizing before Michael. I was passing Himitsu's class and heard a familiar voice coming from there. It was Catherine. What she's doing there? The escapade I pulled a couple minutes ago was immediately forgotten. Now I was only interested in their conversation. Huh. Hoppla. Das ist eines der wenigen Spiele oder Visual Novel, wo ich sagen muss, dass Filmkörnung gut aussieht. Auch muss ich dazu sagen, die hocken hier. Und hier sind wir. Hinter dem Rahmen. Und das ist ein Fenster. Mit Milchglas. Schätze ich jetzt zumindest. Man sieht doch, wenn da jemand dahinter steht. Man sieht doch hier sogar die Silhouette. Naja. I hid behind the door and listened carefully. Thank God for the thin walls of Japanese schools. It was... Das ist ein Schreibfehler, den habe ich früher oft gemacht. Anstatt also habe ich immer Laso geschrieben. It was also quite fortunate that Catherine occupied the desk closer to the door, even if it wasn't her class. That's a Catherine I knew. The students walking through the corridor were giving me weird looks. No matter, it couldn't get any worse. Not what you think. I caught the end of a sentence. No, I'm just glad you're back. Are you now? Well, if you want to search for hidden implications in my every world, I'll leave you to it. That didn't really look like a conversation between old friends after a long separation. I could have expected that. No, actually, that was to be expected. Don't pretend nothing happened. But nothing really happened, and hasn't been happening for the past year and a half. And even if we were pretending, we were good at it. Himitsu wasn't talking very loudly, but suddenly went silent, gasping for air as if after a desperate cry. Why now of all times? If it was up to me, I would have never have returned here. How convenient for you. You leave when you most need it, and it's not your fault. You come back when you're not needed at all, and it's not your fault. And how are we to live now? Tell me. I totally did not expect a reaction like this from Himitsu. Well, sure, I had known for a while that she was no longer the 8-year-old girl I met one day when I still didn't know a single Japanese word. I, in many senses, Manche Sätze machen für mich einfach keinen Sinn. I, in many senses, she was more of an adult than me. Komischer Satz. But to see someone close to you like that, I guess I just wasn't ready. And what should I do? Tell me. Why in the world should I adjust myself to you, to him, to the two of you? For you, life is simple? Life is so simple? So, yeah. For you, life is so simple. Well, it's just complicated for you. You couldn't even come and say hi, explain the situation properly, and all because of your pride. Pride, you say? Fängt sie auf einmal an zu lachen, zu grinsen. What an evil fucking bitch! I smash your fucking smirk out! Catherine smirked scornfully. More like self-respect. You could use some yourself, acting like a... Like what? Come on, tell me, how am I acting? The way you couldn't? It was weird that no one of Himitsu's classmates was paying attention to the two of them. Then suddenly it didn't look like a friendly conversation. If only he knew the whole truth. Then tell me. I can't, Catherine said quietly, so quietly I almost couldn't hear her. Oh, so that's how it is? And what do you think to do next? You can't just ignore his feelings, can you? And what about my feelings? Has anyone thought about me and them? Her feelings? What? But Catherine immediately continued. I can't stand being near him. Then don't be. Free us from your presence, it'll be easier for everyone. Don't worry, I will. There's less than a year of school left. Yes, but for the whole year. I'm sure you can do it without breaking apart. You're just... Oh, senpai! One of Himitsu's classmates called out to me. I immediately broke into a run. Hope the girls didn't notice me. I ran back to my class, almost knocking down 2 students who were too slow to dodge me. Jumped behind my desk and tried to quickly catch my breath. By then I had completely forgotten about Michael. But what the ever-living hell was that? I couldn't understand Himitsu worrying about me. About how Catherine's return might have affected me. But that tone, those wordings? And what about Catherine herself? I can't stand being near him? If only he knew the whole truth? Whatever happened between us, I didn't think I had deserved this treatment through my words or actions. You're right, Nick? Yes, everything fuzz. I pattered out. Kyosuke gave me a somehow sympathetic look and expressively glanced towards Michael, who was peacefully reading a book, paying no attention to his surroundings. Yeah, you know, lots happened. I really wanted him to understand. Yeah, but still... And here Kyosuke was right. I very slowly stood up and approached Michael. So, nothing worthwhile will come to my head. Sorry I acted like that, it's just that I've been going through a complicated period recently. He closed the book and looked at me coldly. I understand, it's alright. No, I really didn't mean any harm, just snapped. I'm telling you, I understand. Yeah, that was just like Michael. One thing in words and another in thoughts. Oh, whatever, I certainly was in no mood to try to prove anything to him. The bell rang. The lesson had been going for 5 minutes already, but Catherine was yet to get back into the class. And to top it off, her things disappeared too. I couldn't tell for sure if they were there when I returned. I just didn't pay attention. Finally, the school day came to an end. I felt a pressing need to talk to Himitsu, even though I didn't really know what I would say. And what could I say? With everything that's happened today, I completely forgot about my yesterday's conversation with Ichinose. And it gave me a lead too. Himitsu, Catherine. But what about the note, the call? I had to find out what this was all about, right? It seemed like this decision could seriously impact my life from now on. To go to Himitsu or try to solve the mysteries of my father's past. Das ist natürlich eine gute Frage. Ich weiß, hier haben wir später noch die Möglichkeit, nach Antworten zu suchen. Was passiert, wenn wir uns um Himitsu kümmern? Die Frage für mich gerade ist, was wäre interessanter? Wahrscheinlich nach Antworten zu suchen, oder? Aber wir haben Himitsu schon die letzten Tage genug enttäuscht. Das sind wir eigentlich schon fast schuldig. Ah, schwierig, schwierig. Komm, Himitsu. Wasn't I too frequent a visitor in her class today? The guys were grinning at me as they left the class. The girls were casting meaningful glances. Yeah, I can't even visit my childhood friend already. Gossips are sure to follow. But then Himitsu herself appeared. After seeing me, she grew flustered for a moment. Probably because of the fit I threw earlier. But the usual smile almost immediately lit up her face. Nico-kun. Ah, hey, let's go home together? Sure. Himitsu was merrily striding the sidewalk, enjoying the warm autumn day. Meanwhile, I was gathering my thoughts, trying to decide on how to begin the difficult conversation. Have you talked to Katya lately? Can't postpone death by taking a deep breath. You have asked already. Oh, no, you're sprite. We've just seen each other briefly in the corridor. She flashed a cute smile and turned to me, and it seemed like her hair was ablaze with the bright rays of the sun. I grew embarrassed and looked away. I want to say I don't want you to think I was eavesdropping on purpose. It just turned out this way. Anyway, I heard you talking today. What do you mean talking? Her expression didn't change. Could it really be that she didn't understand? With Catherine, I heard you argue. I wanted to add about me, but stopped short. Ah, you mean that? We weren't arguing at all. Just haven't seen each other for a while. I'm so glad Kitty-chan has returned. What? I even stopped in my tracks and stared stupidly at Himitsu. But I heard with my own ears. So you're telling me that wasn't an argument? A fight? Of course not, you just imagined it. Was she just so sure no one was eavesdropping on them? After all, it's impossible to lie so plainly, looking to the other person in the eyes. At least Himitsu certainly couldn't. Well... Okay. Ach, habe ich gar nicht bemerkt, wie sie da hinten das Hochhaus hochziehen. Huh. I had to agree, I couldn't accuse her of lying, could I? Then, what were you talking about? Nothing in particular, really. You know, girl talk. Oh, that's nice. I didn't think you had common conversational topics. Displeasure flashed on Himitsu's face. She didn't even try to hide it. Why not? We hadn't seen each other for a long time. What if I missed her? I mean, we were friends. She clarified, realizing she got carried away. Well, at least her return brought joy to one of us. I smiled as genuinely as I could. Himitsu blushed and immediately changed the topic. And how was your day? It was normal, I guess. Dropped by this ramen shop in the morning. You know, the one at the railroad? Nico-kun? She pouted. What now? You're eating nasty things again. It's not nasty. Your words would make the owner cry so much he would oversalt the ramen. Naja gut, es ist Ramen in einem Ramen-Shop und ich glaube Ramen ist sowas wie Fast Food hier in Deutschland. Oder allgemein in der westlichen Welt. Ja, sogar die Ramen eben, ne? Fine, but you can't eat it all the time. I'm not. You could say I'm on a king's diet. Thanks to you, of course. Of course. She pinched my side. Hey, that hurt. I didn't even notice when the conversation turned to a normal course, and the two of us once again became almost like siblings to each other. That's how it should have been, right? Despite Catherine, despite anything at all. Alright, you had it coming. Ich habe gerade gedacht, er macht was ganz anderes. Das soll Rennen sein. Ja, also wenn man rennt und dabei die Arme so schwingt. Ich dachte eher, er haut jetzt über die Schulter und gibt dir ein paar ordentliche Slaps auf den Ass. Aber ich liege wohl falsch. Aber nettes Thumbnail auf jeden Fall. Also darauf freue ich mich schon. I grabbed Himitsu and punched her ass. Threw her over my shoulder and slapped that ass. And ran down the street past the dumbfounded bypassers who said, "Why is he slapping the ass of that girl? Nico-kun, let me down. Ah, what are you doing?" But I didn't give a damn about anything, because I slapped that ass. The uptight Japanese, the decencies, the tiredness that I surprisingly wasn't feeling, Himitsu's fruitless attempts to break free from slapping her ass. I felt alive. Nico-kun, she said quietly now as she stopped struggling. I stopped and let it down to the ground. Come on. Himitsu grabbed the lapels of my jacket and pressed herself to me. Aw. Now my head is spinning. Yeah, I overdid it, I guess, but it was fun, right? You wouldn't do this with Katie-chan, she said, her head still cast down. Oh, of course, she's heavier. I tried to laugh it off with a stupid joke. Oh, ich fange an zu lallen, was? Ich bin echt müde. Well, let's go home. The well-started joke ended with an imminent failure. The whole remaining way to the house we only exchanged a couple meaningless phrases. In the past several days, we were getting further and further away from each other, and this moment of closeness ended up being just a memory. Well, here we are. I guess I'll make dinner? Himitsu looked like she was asking her shop manager when was her shift supposed to start. Nah, no need. I've got things to do today. Gotta go to the bank. I immediately lied to escape unnecessary questions. Although I didn't look like Himitsu was interested. Alright, see you tomorrow then. She smiled almost genuinely. Ouch. I didn't respond, only looked after her to the doors of her house. What the actual hell? I was overwhelmed by self-reflection. To get at least some kind of distraction, I was shooting pixel monsters on the screen and didn't even notice as the evening came. Hunger breaks stone walls, and in this case it made all my thoughts focus on food. What I wouldn't give for another bowl of ramen. Hot, freshly made with delightfully tasty noodles, flavorful broth, pieces of meat, a half of an egg, herbs and spices. Who could possibly resist that? Boy. I rushed to the hallway and had already put my boots on when the silence that enveloped the house was broken by the telephone bell. I wasn't going to answer. It must have been Himitsu. Her upset face appeared on my eyes. No, at least today she was going to let me be alone. I reluctantly picked up. Hello. After a long silence, a familiar voice sounded on the other end. Nikolai, Ichino's speaking. Father's old friend seemed agitated. I immediately remembered yesterday's conversation. Nikolai, I'm calling about our recent talk. I'm listening. I'm calling to say you shouldn't look for Akira. Shouldn't? Why? You didn't. He stopped short. No, to be honest, I didn't really have the time. Ah, good then. I've got news that he died. Died? Joyful kids' voices could be heard from the street. The last rays of the still warm autumn sun were pleasantly warm, and I was sweating bullets of cold sweat. Ichino-san, this isn't related to my father, is it? To his work? No, not at all. His voice was calming. They say it was a heart attack. He wasn't a young man. After a short silence, he added, "We'll all be there one day." Ah, I'm very sorry. Forget it, you didn't know him. But still, if he was your friend's father's friend. Well, I'm sorry that I can't help you anymore either. What do you mean? With your father's work, Akira was my only guess. Don't mention it, you've already done everything you could. If only I could do more. The standard Japanese exchange of pleasantries had already started tiring me out. Anyway, Ichinosu-san, if you remember something, I'd be happy to get any information. Oh, of course. Good night. He should have probably been... He should have probably been lying, right? But why would you lie about a man's death if he didn't die? What if I were rushed to look for him and end up finding this Akira? In that case, a lie like this would achieve a reserve effect. No, that was probably just a dead end. Okay, wenn wir jetzt die andere Entscheidung genommen hätten, die Hinweise nachzugehen, dann hätten wir den bestimmt gefunden, oder? Und so wird jetzt halt dieser Akira mehr oder weniger oder dieser Storyweg wird jetzt mehr oder weniger, ja, gekillt, könnte man sagen. If I were to unravel this whole situation, I would have to try another approach and start from the beginning. Ist das eine Anspielung darauf, dass man das Spiel neu starten soll? Oder zurückspulen soll zu einem alten Save, um herauszufinden, was es darauf, was es damit auf sich hat? Ich könnte mich natürlich irren und zu viel hineininterpretieren, aber so hat sich's angehört. When I left the ramen shop, the lights of the distant stars were already shining brightly in the sky, like small lanterns fixed high above the clouds. I recalled stars in Russia being the brightest at the end of August. A cold damp wind blew from the ocean. I shuddered and my heart immediately felt unbelievably heavy. Ist der Zug stecken geblieben? Ich glaube, die Animation vom Zug ist gerade stecken geblieben. Perhaps somewhere in the very center of Tokyo, the nightlife was still boiling, but my district would fall asleep with twilight. The streets would grow empty, only late bypassers hurrying home, where they were waiting by a long, loving family and a hot dinner, completely different from my ramen. If only I didn't have a fight with Himitsu today. But could you really call this a fight? Hätten wir gewählt, lass mal aufs Dach gehen und dann mit Himitsu laufen, hätte das was geändert? Oder würde das was ändern? Ganz bestimmt, oder? Wahnsinn, wie viele Entscheidungen es hier wieder gibt und wie viele Möglichkeiten. No yelling, no dish breaking, even no face punching. Only strained silence, unspoken words and indecision. Da! Der bleibt einfach hängen, der Pisser. Yeah, exactly, indecision. I just didn't know what I felt toward her. Especially now, after Catherine had returned. Accepting her love would have been the easiest, but wouldn't I only hurt both of us even more then? Will this feeling end up being genuine, or will I simply supplement the function of a housemaid with the role of a lover? And in the end, Himitsu will simply end up hating me, as well as herself. However, rational thoughts work best with clear mind. The empty house met me with a ringing silence and the cold of an autumn light. For a long while I stood next to the phone, not thinking about anything in particular. No, I most definitely wasn't going to call anyone. More like, waited to get a call. But the clock hands were nearing midnight. I looked outside, but the windows were dark. Why do I always do this? Fist push people away and then suffer. Finally the tiredness seized me and turned out to be the deliverance I craved. I stretched on the bed, closed my eyes and immediately plunged into my pleasant dormancy, when you know you're about to fall asleep. Oh Gott. Get up. Ja. Ich speichere erstmal. Und mache eine Aufnahmepause. So, ich hoffe, es hat euch wieder gefallen, diese Aufnahmesession. Lasst es mich wissen in den Kommentaren und wir sehen uns dann wieder bei der nächsten Aufnahmesession. Bis dann und gute Nacht und ja, ihr wisst ja.